Throughout the last century, there has been great controversy over the viability of nuclear energy in the United States. Past incidences have fueled fear and paranoia that is not necessarily justified, and although this form of energy has inherent dangers, the benefits far outweigh the risks. However, that is not to say that reform is not necessary. Today, there are 65 plants with 104 reactors, providing the United States with 19.6% of its electricity. It is the number one source of emission-free electricity, yet over half of the ordered reactors before 2008 were prematurely shut down or canceled. Current construction on new reactors is highly restricted. The newest reactor in the United States is expected to begin operation in 2012, a project that took almost 40 years to complete. Limitations imposed by the U.S. can be attributed to accidents in foreign nations and here in the U.S. On March 28, 1979, the most serious nuclear accident in the history of America occurred on 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. The accident occurred when there was a failure in the non-nuclear section of the plant, and small levels of radiation was released into the atmosphere to ensure the reactor was properly cooled. Although there was no deaths or injuries to any workers or community members, the accident significantly raised the already present suspicion towards nuclear energy. While opponents of development of nuclear energy often turn to 3 Mile Island as evidence in favor of their position, regardless of the actual facts. While there was radiation released into the atmosphere, it was only about 1 millirem on average, only 2/10 more than the natural background radiation. Studies conducted by the Department of Health and Human Services, the EPA, and the NRC, and various other third parties showed little to no adverse effects upon the environment. However, the irrational paranoia caused by 3 Mile Island did lead to necessary changes in human training and emergency response planning. Since the issues of the plant had nothing to do with the reactor itself, the cries for the shutdown of all nuclear plants on this basis are 2 steps back for every step forward. 7 years later, a Soviet reactor in Chernobyl, Ukraine experienced the worst meltdown in recorded history. The resulting explosion killed 2 workers immediately, and 58 others followed over the course of the next 3 months. In addition, 28 more died from the effects of acute radiation syndrome. This meltdown was not typical because the reactor was not typical. It was far larger than is advisable, to the point of hazard, and it was built over land, not water, as is protocol of all other reactors. Given the Soviet Union and the presence of the Iron Curtain, the meltdown was taken much too seriously in the United States. Opponents of nuclear energy used the meltdown at Chernobyl as their rallying point, rather erroneously. The most recent nuclear accident that occurred on March 11, 2011, in Fukushima, Japan, has shown the world that the unexpected can defeat even the most thorough precautions. The disaster in Japan was caused by an earthquake and a subsequent tsunami, causing 3 reactors to explode and another to catch fire. While the disaster in Japan has come as another focal point for opponents of nuclear power, Japanese officials have been taking a more rational approach to deciding the future of nuclear power in the country. Japanese officials have decided that although plans to develop new plants will be put on hold and probably canceled, nuclear power is an important source of energy in the country, so many existing reactors are going to be kept in operation. In the United States, precautions have been taken to ensure the safety of nuclear power plants, including precautions against earthquakes, power outages, and other emergencies. All plants that are made in areas with high seismic activities have been built and tested to withstand at least a 7.0 earthquake. Also, plants have suffered through power outages due to hurricanes, and in Louisiana, during Hurricane Katrina, power plants successfully operated during a 3-day power outage without any failure. Further safeguards have been made after the accidents in Japan to ensure the safety of plants during an earthquake and prolonged power outages. So the shutdown of plants in the United States due to the Japan accident is completely unnecessary and excessively paranoid. Nuclear energy has caused fewer deaths than coal energy and reduces the nation's dependence on foreign oil. It is non-renewable, but the best source available. Fossil fuels are limited and dirty. Most green technology is either unreliable, undeveloped, or both. Nuclear is both clean and reliable, and will not be exhausted for some time yet. Research must be put into it, both the development of energy itself and the furthering of safety protocol.